Hi, my name is Cree, and I am here in Kingston, Tennessee, and this is one of my hangouts. And I'm actually at this creepy hotel, which is kind of in the mood for me to actually tell you some stories. Okay, and this is some stories. Okay, you like hauntings and stuff like that, don't you? Well, back in the 80s. There was this couple who was riding along on their honeymoon. And they come to this creepy old, like, abandoned town. And they're like, oh my gosh, we're going to get on just take a stroll through town. So they got out of their car and they started to walk all the way, all the way through the town. There was a whole bunch of people in black. Okay, walking around the cemetery, and by this church there was this old woman who had her eyes rolled back in her head and was chanting this awful chant. And they started screaming and ran to their car, got in, drove to the next town. I remember how they did at this motel, this bed and breakfast like motel type of deal. It's like, you know the place is haunted, right? And they're like, what? Oh yeah, back in the 1800s. Everybody in town was in church, and lightning struck the steeple and killed everybody. Well, that's great. Okay, that brings me to story number two. Well, story number two is there was this boy who was his teenager and decided that he needed freedom from his parents. Now, he lived in this sort of like haunted house that everybody put off all these hauntings because like the curtains will open and shut by themselves. Light switch would turn on and off. There was a sound in the garage. They would go to the garage and they figured with the deep freezer or deep freeze made noise or whatever. And so they like put it off. And well, well one day he decided he was gonna move into the garage, maybe two-car garage, his bedroom. And the very first night he had a night terror. He was sweating, he was scared, he was shaking, and he felt a presence within the room. Well, for nights on end it happened, and then he told his parents, just move into your bedroom, they told him. Since you're afraid, and he said no, being stubborn. So months later, he went to a party and he was a designated driver, so he was not drinking. He came home, his room was locked, and when he went in, all his bed was turned over, all his stuff was ripped off the walls, everything was over to the side of the bed, next to the wall, broken or ripped and stuff like that. And he's like, nobody could get in here, my family wouldn't do this, and nobody could get in here. So he knew that something had done it within the house, and it wasn't his family. So as he cleaned up the mess and everything, and days later, it happened again. He decided that, yeah, this place is haunted. He woke up. He saw a man sitting on his chest with his hand over his throat. Let me tell you something. He was terrified. He tried to fight and move and breathe, and he just couldn't do it. And he tried to and tried to, and finally he did it. And man put his hand other hand over his throat. And he tried to fight and fight, and when he did, the man disappeared, and he ran outside his room, and his dad was in the hallway, and he couldn't catch his breath, and his dad went and sat him down, and he said, "What's wrong, son?" He told him. He said it was just a nightmare, but the next day, he had a bruise on his neck. So he moved out of the garage, but here's this kicker there. He never went back in that room. They used it for a living room then, but he never went back in. Ugh. Awful. Here's some more deals. Huh. Many stories are rubbing in my mind. This is jumping out of me. What should be the next story? Oh, should we do The Exorcist? This thing is too much, huh? Yeah. I'll tell you a haunting. A very good haunting. It's my family haunting. There was this man, his name was Curtis. Well, just checking the time, he was my mama's mother's mother, first cousin. He still is, still alive, still kicking. Anyway, he started getting magic and he said, I'm going to be a black witch. I'm going to worship Satan. Next thing you know, my grandpa went and saw him and his shutters was moving up and down. And then when he saw my grandpa again, he goes, them shutters giving you a problem? He goes, yes, Curtis, they did. He promised my grandma that he would visit her at 12 o'clock night. His head appeared to her. One day he was walking home. And something was following him. And it followed him, and he went into his house. He shut the door and didn't go out that night again. And you never guess. When he went back in that morning, out there that morning, there were scratches all down his door. And the next thing you know, that thing followed him around for 2 years, scratching at his heels. 2 years. Finally, he went into his grandma's house. He shut the door, went into her bedroom, got down on his knees, prayed to the Lord above that he would change his ways. He promised. And it stopped following him. He admitted she did it. It stopped it. That was amazing. He gave all his witchcraft stuff to my grandma, but she still has it today. Crystal balls and everything. And she says she's a good Christian. How do you like my stories? Here's just something about hauntings. Never turn to the people that say they can do it. Always turn to the men of God. So they can actually help you. Always turn to the men of God to help you with every evil thing. They are the messengers of God. Remember that. Turn to the Bible. Don't turn to the TV. Turn. Resist it. Ignore the evil, and the evil will go away. Ignore Satan, and Satan will flee. How simple is that? It's not simple. It's very hard. When you have a pounding in your head, seeing it. But remember, God is on your side. Are you on God's side? If you're not, He'll never be on yours. Thank you.